So we'll talk about the first chakra or the base chakra or the earth chakra, right? So the chakra, you're concerned about your survival, but you must surrender those fears. So we have been talking about which fear you surrender, right? Which fear you let go, which fear you prepare. So now, isn't that confusing in Buddhism? So Buddha said, let go of everything, right? But Buddha also said, persevere. You will win, not immediately, but definitely. What do you do? Why is Buddha giving you a dual message? Kenneth? Why does Buddha give you that kind of dual message? Shouldn't he be decisive?
No.
Why not? Then you're confused, right? One hand said, let it go, right? Who cares if I don't get A+ in my grade? A D? That's fine. Let it go. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. Not really, right? Then on the other hand, he said, work hard. Persevere. Meaning, put a lot of effort into it. Work hard, right? Get A+, A++++. Make your parents happy. You'll win, not immediately, but definitely. This is not confusing. One hand he said, let go of it. Forget about everything. You're going to die anyway. Right? So what is right? Thomas.
Both of them.
Both of them? But how do you know?
Because like one of them is like let go because you're gonna die and but the other one's like make them
How do you make that decision? Say, oh, I will persevere. I will hard. I will not sleep the whole night. I will just keep on playing game, right? And your mom tell you, go steady. Oh, mom, you know what? Buddha said, let it go. Right? Why not? So you think like that, and your mother thinks the other way around. Your mother said, let go of your attachment to the games and work hard on your studies. You said, no, mom, I will let go of the studies and I will play the games hard. What's right?
Your mom probably.
Your mom? Because it's your mom?
No, she's your knowledge.
She has some knowledge? Come on, be honest. What do you think? Weigh in.
Oh yeah, most likely yeah. Wow.
I mean for Kenneth it'll be him.
Our mother is here. Why are you asking me?
That's a lot.
So how do you make that decision? You're like here. Confused, right? Especially your hat. How do you make that decision? So in life, you'll have those kind of wondering, right? What do I pick? Oh, this looks great. This looks good. This looks nice. Oh my God, I'm confused, right? Oh, the same thing. So how do we do that? How do we differentiate between the worry and the preparation? Right? Cannot read this for me. You must.
Let go, release the stress. You are never in control.
One hand Buddha said, you must learn to let go. Release the stress. You're never in control.
So who's in control?
Right? Then, kind, read this.
If you stand for a reason, be prepared to stand alone like a tree. And if you fall on the ground, fall like a seed.
Prepared like a tree. If you fall on the ground, fall like a seed. Then grows back right up and fight again. Well, Buddha has given a dual message again. Isn't he crazy? Why are you following him? This guy just sat here and said this. How can I trust him?
You don't because he said
You need
himself,
text
you don't.
evidence.
So how do you do it?
No, but he's a really good philosopher.
So I'm confused. Come on, help me here. Right? Once that, don't worry about it. Just let go. Say, no, be prepared. Fight for it. How do we do?
It just depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation. Good job. What else?
You can do one at a time, like this here and that there. Like, let's say you have an assignment that's due like within a week, and then you have to like work hard on it, but then you have to like let go, so you can like relieve the stress, and then another day you do that. But you also have to do that within the time frame.
Good. What do you say? Good. Nothing? Any one of you? Any comments? How do we differentiate? So, Noble Eightfold Path tell you about right speech, right action, right effort, right livelihood, this and that. The Buddhism doesn't tell you anything specific, does it? It just tell you that, oh, Noble Eightfold Path, right speech. What is right speech?
Use good
No
words.
slandering.
No cursing.
Hmm?
No swearing.
No slandering. No slandering.
So, do you think Buddhism will be very specific about telling you how to do things and how to make that judgment and how to differentiate?
Yes.
Yeah? How? How do we call it?
God,
It is called
I read that wrong.
Yoniso Manasikara. Okay, repeat after me. Yoniso Manasikara. This is one of the most important words in Buddhism. Okay? What I mean by that is you have to have right mindset. Okay? With what? When you make a decision, that decision has to be a wise decision, thoroughly put. Okay? We call it throughput in English. Thorough, throughput has to be appropriate with the situation. Situation I mean, it's an appropriate situation. It has to be wholesome. Now, give me some example. So, for example, let's say you talk to your friend. Hey, yo, bro, sis. But you go talk to your mom or your grandma or your grandpa like that. Will be nice?
No.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Other than that.
Some of you even use some S1 and L4. I know that. But cool? No, right? If you do that to your mom or your teacher, what will happen?
Expelled.
At school, if you use that word to your teacher, you're out. At home, if you use that word, what happened?
Time out.
Time out,
Oh, you're dead.
or your privileges will be taken away. So, if you don't know, that's situational analysis. If you don't know the appropriateness, right? You're not wise, right? You're not thinking through. Okay. Eventually, as a Buddhist, it is not wholesome. That is not Yoniso Manasikara. Okay. So going back here, Buddha is not giving you a Jewish message. Buddha wants you to use the appropriate things in the appropriate setting, right? That is what Buddha called Yoniso Manasikara, right? You have a test tomorrow, very important test, and you're sleeping or playing games. Are you having Yoniso Manasikara? No, right? You can tell me, oh, I'm just relaxing. Yeah, you can relax for 5 minutes, but you can't be relaxing for 3 hours, right? You're playing games, basketball. Hey, don't you have test tomorrow? Yeah, I do, but I'm relaxing. Yeah, 5 minutes fine, but not 20 minutes or 3 hours, right? So remember this word, Yoniso Manasikara is the one, right? You have to have the right mindset, right? So, for example, I have discussed about this word here. What do you see here? Evil and good. So it's up to you. Life has dual meanings like this always. however you look at it. Right? I look at Kenneth, he's a very handsome man. Right? Someone else might say, oh my goodness, look at him. He is gaining weight. Right? So, hey, it's your perception, right? So in life, you can look at it in a different way. You can see good, you can see evil. Now that's boring, right? So what do you see?
Oh.
Funny.
No, I
Oh,
see
she
someone
would-
eating a baby.
Someone eating a baby?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Literally someone.
Okay,
I'm
so
using a human.
raise your hand. Don't be shy. If you see nasty picture, raise your hand.
Someone eating a baby bug.
Okay.
Oh, now,
All right.
now that
So-
you say it.
All right. Now, those of you who did not raise your hand, tell me what you see.
Someone eating a baby.
What do you see? You see fish? Very good. How many fish do you see?
Oh.
How many fish do you see?
Wait.
We can't find them.
Right there.
How many fish do you see? Come on, help her, guys.
Wait, where are the fish?
Where's the fish?
What?
No, they come here. Show them the fish. They,
I'm
you
so
see,
confused.
they don't see the fish.
It's
They,
not a
all they
slide.
see
What are the
in their
dragons?
mindset is the nasty picture. Don't tell me. There are beautiful dolphins. There are 9 of them. Okay.
Oh, that's
So-
so funny.
Where?
Oh.
So here's a bottle. Actually, there are 9 dolphins, right? But if your mind is looking at, oh my goodness, that's a nasty picture. Now, you're not wrong, but it tells me where your mindset is, right? So are you having yoniso manasikara?
No, I'm not.
Not really, right? So in Buddhism, right, doesn't matter what you see. If you know how to put your right mindset, okay, that is beneficial for you. If your mindset is wrong, all you're looking at is, oh my goodness, what kind of picture is this? Right? But just 9 beautiful dolphins, right? So that is what Yoniso Manasikara is. Now, yes, we talk about this here. You're gonna have the right mindset. You're gonna be wise, thorough, appropriate, situational, and wholesome. Right? There's good and evil. Well, the same thing. Okay, so change your mindset. Okay, look at it from a different angle. Right? That's what Buddha wants you to see. Everything, there are different angles. Right? Now, there may be nasty angles, but your base is nasty. Right? Beautiful angle, your base is beautiful. But I don't blame you for seeing the nasty picture. But I do blame you for not seeing the beautiful dolphin. So if you have Yoniso Manasikara, you should see both good and evil. And you should focus on the good and get rid of the evil. Right? If you see only the evil, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? If you see only the good, I don't like it either. You should see both good and evil, but keep your mind focused on good and try to get rid of the evil. Right? So that's what Buddha wants you to know about Yoniso Manasikara. Okay? That's very, very important. Repeat after me. Yoniso
Yoniso.
Manasikara. Say it 3 times. Very good. Okay. All right. Now, let's go to our second chakra, which is the water chakra or sacred chakra. Deals with what?
Pleasure.
Pleasure. This chakra deals with pleasure and blocked by guilt. What does it mean by that? What does it mean by that? How do you understand by that when the guru told Avadar about mastering this sacred chakra or the Nirvana chakra, second chakra right here? What do you have here?
The belly button.
The belly button, below the belly button, your sexual organs.
Oh, we're talking about
Okay, your hormonal, sexual hormonal organs, right? So that deals with your pleasure, blocked by guilt. What is that? What does it mean by that?
So that means you block your what you think for.
Okay, what else, guys? For example, you play games. So you get pleasure?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you feel guilty on the other hand?
Yes.
Yes, you do feel guilty because you know you shouldn't. You know that your mother wants you to study, but you lie to your mother that you are studying, but instead you are playing games, right? So that is the chakra. You want the pleasure, blocked by guilt, right? So what are the things? Except games,
You eat
Skipping
chocolates when you're not supposed to.
okay? What else?
Skipping school.
Skipping school. What else? Junk food. Yeah, good. You're gaining weight. You're overweight. You're a little conscious about your body figure now, right? And you eat junk food because you really like it, and you eat it, and right after you eat, you regret. Oh my goodness, what did I eat? Right? You said drugs. What else?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Right?
Beer.
So anything beer, anything bad, right? That deal with your pleasure. Now you do get pleasure. Maybe that moment when you're playing a game, you got that pleasure. Oh my God, I feel great. But after that, you feel guilty because, gosh, I should have done my homework. I'm not done with my homework. Right? Oh, my mom wants me to play only 30 minutes. Now I play 2 hours. All right? So, sex, drugs, video games, and so many other things. Food, right? Just watching garbage YouTube videos. So anything those you feel like you get pleasure, but at the end you feel guilty, right? That's the second chakra. Now, what do you think Buddha told you related to that? Do you think Buddhism will give you a specific guide on how to handle pleasure? What do you think? Yes?
No, maybe.
No? Maybe? Cannot? No, you don't think so? You don't think so? So you think that Buddhism will just give you a vague idea like Noble Eightfold Path? Right? Is that what you're thinking?
No.
No, I think yes, because he's a philosopher.
He's a philosopher. Just because he's a philosopher, he will give you a specific guideline how to deal with sex
Yes.
or drugs
Yes.
or your pleasure.
Yes.
You think so?
So
So
that's all philosophers do.
that's what all philosophers do?
Yeah.
How many of you online think that Buddha will give you specific instruction on how to deal with that? Raise your hand if you think so. Okay. All right. Very good. So, all right. So, Buddhism is very clear. Buddhism will tell you everything in detail of anything you want to know. Okay. So, there is a sutta called Vitakka Santana Sutta. Okay. So, in there, it tells you clearly how to block your negative pleasure. Okay, so how many of you remember the elements of jhana, the 5 elements of jhana? No, the jhana.
Oh.
Vitakka, Vishara, Piti, Sukha, Ekata, right? So the very first one is the Vitakka. So to get enlightenment, you're gonna have a lot of concentration first, right? Forget about the enlightenment. Just to get the concentration, first you need to get that Vitakka. Vitakka means repeatedly putting your mind towards that wholesome thing or things that you want to master. Whether that be game, that be your study, that be biking, that be playing piano, guitar, whatever. So that Vitaka, okay, here, Vitaka, Santana Sutta. Now, why it is named like that is anything we do, whether that be good or bad, your mind just keep on going there, right? How many of you really realize that your mind keep on going to that game that your parents tell you not to? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's normal, right? How many of you, your mind just go to the phone so that you can be on TikTok with your friends?
I can't have.
I don't use TikTok.
No? How many of you K-pop or YouTube video?
What you said?
Okay,
K-pop.
Oh, I love K-pop.
you love K-pop.
Oh, right.
So-
Yes, sure.
That's our mindset. Our mind tends to go to things that we are attracted to, automatically, repeatedly, on itself. That is called Vitaka. Okay, so whether that be drunk, okay, hanging out with friends, okay, games, smoking, sex, anything, your mind will just go there automatically. That's how we're born. Right? So that what we call major Vitaka do, meaning the bad Vitaka. The mind will automatically go there. Right? You can't get rid of that attachment to your phone. You just want to talk to your friend. You just want to text, no matter what. You just want to play a game, no matter what. Now, that is called Vitaka. Now, wouldn't that be good if internally, automatically, I just want to study. I just want to read. I just want to go to the library. Okay? I just want to learn about the world. I just want to become the president. I just want to be the leader in the community. If your internal feeling is always like that, wouldn't that be good? That'll be great. But is it easy to happen? Does it happen automatically? No, your mind just keeps going to the candy. So now that's what that sutra is talking about. Okay, so you're not the only one, right? Your parents are the same way. Your parents, for no reason, will go to Facebook, right? Read it, like it, right? Post something. Okay. Oh, how many people like what I posted, right? Whether that be politics, whether that be about you, or that be about their work, whatever it may be. Okay. They want to feel connected. They want to feel valued. They want to feel acknowledged. Okay, so they keep on doing that. Right? So that's what the Vitaka is. And a lot of our Vitakas are made of Vitaka, meaning the bad attachment. So what does this sort of say? What does Buddha say? How do you block that negative pleasure or attachment to that negative pleasure? So what's number one?
Replace.
Replace. Whenever there is that negative pleasure comes to your mind. Of course, first you need to know. A lot of us don't even know, right? Sometimes you're playing games, even though you feel like it's just 5 minutes ago. Literally, when you look at it, a lot of time, how long does it take?
10
Hours.
Hours. Oh my goodness, I thought I just started this game, but it took me 2 hours. But when your mother yelled at you, Mom, I just started playing 5 minutes ago. That's no sound. You started 2 hours ago. And I said, no, I don't think so, but she's right. Why? Because you're so immersed into it. So first you need to be aware of it. Once you are aware of it, then first you need to replace it. That bad thought or whatever bad focus with the good one. Okay, now what's number two? Okay, so first is you try to replace with something else. Say, for example, you're so attached to the game. Just leave it, go play basketball outside. Okay, go play guitar. Do something physical. Replace it, right? But, oh, it's dark outside. Oh, I don't have the basketball food at home. or I don't have this, I don't have that. Then let's say number one doesn't work for you. Okay. Then number two is think about the consequences of that bad thing that you're doing, or disadvantages or danger of the drawback. Right? If I keep on playing this game, I'll be angry. My mom will say something at me, she will take away my privileges and I will be proud. So that, right? If I keep on drinking, I will become a drunk and I'll be a loser. Right? If I hang out with a friend who is not good, then my life will be horrible. I might do bad things. I might end up in prison. Right? If I start smoking, I will become my own. So think about those possible consequences and negative things and reflect on it. Sometimes it might be enough for you to say, you know what, enough is enough, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay? But let's say that doesn't work either. Right? Then what's number three? Ricky.
So bring this topic back to get reminded and decide again.
If number one and number two doesn't work, number three is just stop it. Okay? And neglect it. Forget about it. Say, for example, sometimes you just recite some mantra or sutras or arahant or whatever, or get occupied with something else. Okay? Do something. Change what you are attached to something positive. Okay? That's what another R is refrain. Number four is root. Sometimes 1, 2, 3 doesn't work. Now what you do is find the cause. Why am I attached to this game? Why am I attached to this drug? Why am I attached to this smoking? Why am I attached to this sex? Right? Find the cause and it may be enough. A lot of times you will find you have no reason. I don't know why I'm attached to this. This garbage, this useless. Okay? Why am I attached to this food? Spicy. It gives me hot here, hot here, hot here. Why am I attached to that? Okay? So sometimes that will work. Right? Now, sometimes these number 1, 2, 3, 4, none of those work. Then you will go to number 5. Repel. What does repel mean?
Reject.
Reject. Push back hard as far as you can. Clench your teeth, subdue and beat down that evil. Now sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't work. Then you just have to fight it. Okay, Buddha said, fight your tongue. Fight it. Okay, you're gonna face the music. What does it mean by face the music?
You gotta fight it.
You're gonna really, really fight it, right? That's what it means by face the music. Or fight the bull by the horn, right? That's an English thing. So you just have to do it. Now, these are the step-by-step of what Buddha clearly said in this sutta. So whenever you are attached to anything negative, that's your second chakra, right? Your sacred chakra. You're gonna go this step by step. Now, you cannot blame Buddha on me or anyone if you don't know this stuff. So if you do know these steps and if you don't follow, right? You just I don't care what Buddha said or what he said or my mom said. I'll just do what I said, what I want. Then your life will become horrible,
Ruin.
right? You're just sitting in front of a computer and playing games. Very soon, you can't focus, right? You're gaining weight, right? Your grade will go down. You'll be angry for no reason. Why a lot of game players are angry?
Because they're calling someone
Because
their
because there's money on the line.
There's money on the line and they lose the game.
clout.
Why? Because if you win all the time,
It's boring.
it's boring. If you lose all the time,
That's
it's boring too. So those programmers, what do?
every time you keep losing, they make a bot so you win at least one match.
Very good. So that's human psychology is, right? So just like going to the casino, well, you guys are young, you guys don't go to the casino. If you're attracted to gambling, if you go to casino, it's the same mindset. They program those slot machines the same way. Okay? A lot of people go gambling because they wanna lose. They don't wanna win. Okay, 99% of the people, they leave the casino after they lose everything in their pocket. When they win, they keep on playing till they lose. Now the same thing with your games. Okay, that's how our human psychology is. So Buddha tell you these stuff, but it's easier said than done, right? So let's talk about the game. So how do you do that? How do you replace that bad thought of thinking about game all the time with the goal? How do you reflect on consequences of that game? Someone tell me, what are the disadvantages of playing games?
First, study. So in order to replace it, you have to stop playing that game for like a long time, then you won't be captured anymore.
That's good. Thomas?
Plays games with like so.
You play games a lot, but what are the disadvantages? How do you reflect on these consequences? How do you do that? A lot of you guys play games, tell me. No, you don't have, you see, that's the thing though. You see, of course, Buddha cannot tell you exactly because through the time of Buddha, there's no such thing as games. Because don't expect, oh, I will go to this sutta and I will find how to get rid of my attachment to games. You're not going to find that specific. Buddha will just tell you this, but you have to work on it. Right? So let's look at some consequences. So,
I feel the wrong right now.
Gaming is one of the most popular activities in the world. Billions of people play it almost every single day, and the industry continues to grow and is now in fact even larger than the film and music industries combined. With all these people playing video games, we thought, is all gaming created equal? Or are there different types of gaming that we should be aware of, from casual play to a gaming disorder? So in this video, I'm going to teach you the gaming continuum and help you identify what type of gaming you might have and also what type of gaming you might want to have. Now, all gaming fits on this spectrum. It starts from recreational play to at-risk play to problematic play to disordered play. What these mean overall is that when someone's playing video games, they may just be having fun or they may be beginning to experience negative impact. So let's go through them one by one. Recreational gaming is when gaming is just a hobby. To people who play games casually, it really is just a game. They spend time at work or school, they spend time with friends and family, they have other hobbies and interests, and gaming is very much just one of many things that they like to engage with. At-risk gaming is when gaming is beginning to take up more of an individual's time, but they're not yet experiencing or displaying more serious negative consequences. Some behaviors associated with at-risk play might be losing interest in other activities and gaming becoming more of the only thing that you're doing. Maybe spending money or overspending money in games, engaging in loot boxes. This could also be an at-risk behavior within games. Being toxic when you're playing. Playing games during the weekdays when you have other priorities like school or work. And pursuing esports or streaming as a career. Now again, at-risk play doesn't mean you have a problem, it just means that you're engaging in games in a way that brings increased risk for a potential problem. Problematic play is when you're playing games and you're beginning to display negative consequences. The negative consequences might not be to a point where they're so severe that you have a full-blown disorder, but you're beginning to see real-life consequences from your play. Maybe it's affecting your grades, your performance at school, it's leading you to not be as present with your relationships, maybe with a partner or with your family. You're beginning to lose motivation, drive, hunger, and you're just really more comfortable playing video games than engaging in the real world. For someone with problematic play, either the consequences aren't so severe that it's led to a full-on disorder, or the duration of the consequences is still quite short. So when we look at disordered play, what we're looking at is significant negative consequences in someone's life. In my experience, I had dropped out of high school. I was pretending to have jobs and deceiving my family. I had no control over my games. I was playing 16 hours a day. I lost relationships. Connection with my family was really poor. It was really causing severe negative consequences. I also had no desire to change any of that. Another key difference in disorder versus problem is when you have a gaming disorder, the severity of your consequences and the duration will also be longer. So the duration might be over a year this has been going on, and yet you're still in the same situation, or it's continuing to get worse and worse. So there's recreational play, at-risk play, problematic play, and then disordered play. So I'm curious, where are you? Where would you describe your gaming currently? Share it in the comments below.
So how many of you are just purely recreational right here? You think so? Okay. How many of you are at risk? Okay. All right. Now, how many of you think that disordered? No one? Oh, you, what's the name? Problematic. Okay. So, very good job. At least you know where you're at. Now, that is very good, Dan. This guy, he didn't know that it was disorder, right? So he was an addict to the game. So at least for you, you know there is a problem, right? Now, the bigger problem is, how do you manage that? How do you cure that? Or of course, for you, the Buddha would not tell you, because during the time of Buddha, there was no such thing as games, right? So Buddha, all he said in this Sutta was, do these 5 things. Need to find out. First, you need to reflect on consequences, disadvantages, right? Now, he talked about some of the serious disadvantages. What are those? Kenneth, I'm going to ask you because you're pretty much higher level, right, than the others. So what are the consequences that he talked about? Oh, you have. Why do you think that you're at that level? Now, I appreciate that you've been honest with me and sharing with your class. Great. But can you share with us also why you think so? Why do you think you're at that level?
I lose a lot of hobbies.
Thank you, because I know you're very smart, right? So whenever there are questions, whenever I teach, you used to actually respond a lot smarter, faster. But lately, you're right. You're a little bit kind of like quiet, and maybe you're in a different world at times, different time zone, right? So what else? What else did you talk about? He lose connection with his family, right? He lost his relationship, right? So he even dropped out of school. I hope none of you will ever get to that stage, right? So because when you're so focused on the game, you forget about your family, you forget about your friends, you forget about your brother, sister, you forget about all your games and movement. All you're doing is just sitting in front of the computer and playing those games, right? So now can this happen to you? Could this become, let's say right now you're at where you're at today, but could you become like him, where he become total a school dropout and lost a lot of trust from his family? Could that happen to you? Very likely, right? So you really need to know. So let's look at it.
My name is Cam, and I had a gaming addiction that took over my life for 10 years until I was 21. This created huge problems in my life. I dropped out of school, I lost jobs and relationships, and I struggled really hard with depression. I'm not here to blame video games, and I'm not here to vilify gaming. What I want to share is my experience of addiction and the decision to ask for help that ultimately changed my life. Video games didn't start out as a problem for me. I was a fairly normal Canadian kid. I grew up with two loving parents who gave us lots of opportunities and a lot of love. I went to school, I played hockey, and after I would go home and play video games. I was happy, I felt smart, and I had friends. But that all changed in the 8th grade when I began to experience bullying at school and at hockey. So I stopped going. The less I went to school and the less I went to hockey, the more I found myself playing video games. Games were a place for me to escape to, somewhere I felt in more control of my situation and my life. Gaming felt safe, and it became all I wanted to do. I woke up every day, played for an hour, then other friends would log on, and I could socialize with them online as we continued to play. School was the last place I wanted to be. More and more, I saw no value in participating in the outside world. Eventually, I dropped out of high school and retired from hockey, the game I loved more than anything else. For the next year and a half, I lived in my parents' basement playing video games up to 16 hours a day. My parents told me that if I wasn't going to school, then I had to get a job. So I worked the odd job here and there, but I would only last a few days or maybe a month before I would quit once again. Sometimes I even pretended to have jobs and deceive my family. After my dad dropped me off at work, I would catch the bus back home, climb through my window, and go to sleep because I had been up all night playing video games. Looking back now, I'm embarrassed by this behavior, but at the time, it felt normal to do anything I could to play video games. Slowly, I got more and more depressed. I stopped caring about anything else. When I was gaming, I didn't have to think about how bad my life had gotten. I didn't have to think about how depressed I was. When I share my story, people ask me, "Didn't your parents do anything?" My parents were scared and worried. They saw me staying in my room all day and all night. I didn't want to do things together as a family anymore. I only wanted to play. They tried everything they could think of to help me, but they had no idea how to reach me. And honestly, I treated them horribly. If they had tried to impose restrictions or tried to get me to get a job, I pushed them away. If they tried not to bother me, then I never left my room. At that time, there was no information or resources to help families in this situation. Over the years, I went from feeling low to feeling really depressed to thinking of killing myself. I had lost jobs and even my relationship. I felt hopeless. This continued to get worse until one day when I wrote a suicide note. Thankfully, I didn't go through with it. And in that moment, I realized my life was in serious danger. I saw the only realistic option to save my life was that I had to change. So I asked my dad if he could help. He said yes, and I started working with a counselor. Hitting rock bottom gave me clarity that things needed to change. It made me participate in being a part of the solution. I had to show up to counseling and implement the lessons I was learning there. It wasn't easy. I had to be committed, and this over the long term helped me never give up. In life, there are moments when certain decisions you make change the trajectory of your life forever. Asking for help was one of the most important actions I took. I quit gaming, and eventually I started GameQuitters.com, which has now grown to be the world's largest support community for people struggling with gaming. I am passionate about helping others who may be going through what I went through. Now there are resources for families and gamers who are experiencing problems. Still, many people struggle alone and don't ask for help. I get that. It's very hard to ask for help. For many people who are experiencing anxiety, hopelessness, or problems from gaming, they don't see a way out. One big barrier to asking for help is stigma. Many people find that others don't understand them, and they feel embarrassed to talk about what's really going on. Some people think that they should be able to solve this problem by themselves. They might try to quit on their own and find that they can't. I couldn't fix this by myself. I felt out of control and had no idea how to solve it. I needed help, and I am so grateful I reached out and asked for it. Many gamers worry about what would happen if they stopped gaming. What will happen to their gamer friends? Will they be bored? I understand these worries because I felt them too. What I found out though was very different from my fears. With the help of my counselor, I learned to find enjoyment in many new areas of my life and learned how to build satisfying relationships with people outside the gaming world. It took time and effort, but it was worth it. Counseling ultimately saved my life. It gave me a new hope and it helped me learn how to have fun. It doesn't have to get as bad for you as it was for me. If you or a family member is negatively impacted by gaming, you don't have to struggle alone. Please tell someone. Please reach out for help. Asking for help saved my life, and I believe it can save yours too. Your life.
So this is a real story, right? So this guy had the game addiction and he had to go through a lot of things. How bad was it? Horrible, right? So now those 5 hours, what are those? What's the first R? So this is what Buddha said, right? As I repeatedly tell you, during the time of Buddha, there's no video games, right? So Buddha will not tell you how to do it, right? But Buddha did tell you in this sutta, do these. So this guy, how many of these did he do? Did he do number 1? Did he do number 1? What did he do? What did he replace that with? Number 1, counseling. What else? Jobs. What was he doing on the beach? What was he doing with the African American kids? Yeah, he was softened. He was helping with the kids, right? So instead of sitting in front of the computer, that's what he replaced those. Whenever he had bad thoughts, that's what he did. He went to the counselor. He went out and do soften. He went out to the community and helped the poor kids, right? He replaced those with this. He reflect on the consequences, did he? Yes, that's what counseling helped him, right? He reflect on these bad consequences. Oh my goodness, right? Just like what you just did today. Where am I at? Am I at risk, right? Am I at the recreational level, at risk level, and so on? Did he refrain from it? Yes, of course. He has to neglect and refrain. Of course, it is just like drug addiction. Even though, just like, for example, junk food, you know you are overweight and you shouldn't reach your hand to that popcorn or the chips, but you can't resist. Your finger just keep on going there, right? You just have to turn your face away. What's the cause of here? What's the root here? What's the cause for this guy? Right. The main cause is he was bullied, right? Someone bullied him at school. So then he started doing what? Started playing games, right? Because game, you feel like you have control, even though you don't, right? So, but no, you don't feel like nobody bother you or bully you while you're playing game. So you started doing that. So if that's a problem, why you are attached to these games, you need to talk to your parents, right? Are you bullied at school? Okay, because if you don't find that root cause, you will still keep on going back. Why am I attached to this? Now, believe me, so later down the line, if you don't find the cause, it might be something that you didn't even notice, but you could become addicted to drug, smoking, sex, you name it. So it is very important that he actually figure out what the root cause was, right? Now, did he say it was easy for him? No, he actually had to clench the teeth and subdue and really fought with it. So did he go through all these five hours? Yeah. Now, that's what Buddha said. And now, as I said, Buddha will not tell you exactly about the games or alcohol and stuff. He just gives you this guidelines, and you have to go through this. So you need to really remember these 5 hours, right? If you don't remember these sutra name, but it's not that difficult. You guys already know about Vittaka, right? Okay, so Vittaka Satana Sutta. But importantly, what you need to remember are these 5 hours. Okay, so from my discussion today, you need to remember these 5 hours, and you need to remember these Pali words. What was it? Yoniso Manasikara, right? And remember, don't see only the negative picture, right? So as Nolan saw it, you need to see 9 beautiful dolphins rather than seeing the nasty picture, right? So if you have these Yoniso Manasikara, right? And my computer tends to like this picture.
I think it's because I pressed the. Yeah, I pressed the.
What am I doing? So, and if you remember these 5 hours, okay? Now, since we haven't talking about the Buddhanussati, right? So Buddha is the one who can let go of all the earthly urges and basic instincts. Now, for Buddha, how many years did it take for him to become enlightened?
6.
Billions.
We can even count, right? Like 4 asankhya, like 4 and 140 zero behind it, right? So now, because of that, for us, difficult even just to get rid of the addiction to the game. Now think about addiction to food, addiction to drug, addiction to alcohol, smoking, sex. You're not exposed to any of those yet, but it will come to you. So for Buddha though, he got rid of all these earthly urges and basic instincts, right? Whether you look at from this point of view as our Theravada Buddhism or Mahayana Buddhism, they describe it this way. Of course, we don't use this picture. So that's where we pray every night. Buddha is the one who can let go of all the earthly urges and basic instincts, right? So I'm going to stop here. We have finished the base chakra and the second chakra, right? So you need to really focus on that and try to master it, try to understand, so that you actually know how to manage your life, and also you understand the quality of Buddha. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop here.